So that's
Now,
it, big boy.
the cast of Edge of Quarrel, so Rocky I know has gone on to do some stuff in terms of like soundtrack and stuff like that. And then Dan, the main bad guy, I guess you would call him. Like, he was in Modest Mouse. Like he went on to
Yeah,
do.
I mean, is he? I mean, look, it was written by a straight edge guy,
Right.
But is Dan the bad guy?
It's a great point. Chance.
Pettibone's character does heinous shit in that movie. Just like, you know what I mean? These aren't like, they weren't really written to be the bad side and the good side. One side definitely did represent my personal point of view more so than the other. But every character in that movie that has a main point is essentially saying something I agree with.
Well, I guess this sort of is maybe a theme of yours then, because if you look at Big Boy, you said sort of the same thing. It just depends on your point of view, if it's a horror movie or if it's a comedy with Big Boy. Someone like myself, who straight edge still considers himself straight edge, like I see that movie, and of course, you're going to be looking at it from that lens. So yet another example of why you should continue making movies. Look at this; it's polarizing.
I will be involved in movies in some way going forward, but I don't know that I will ever direct a movie again.
Gotcha. Well, I guess what I was saying about those guys is another example. Well, what I thought was interesting was the guy that played Rolo, Aaron Edge.
Yeah.
He was great. Like I'm just wondering, why didn't he do more acting? Like why? Like I don't know. I guess he just should have pursued it more. I guess. I'm being serious.
Aaron grew a beard.
Okay.
Halfway through filming.
So, okay, I think I know what you're saying.
Okay, so I love Aaron. Don't get me wrong, but HIMSA started. The band HIMSA started.
Yep.
And they decided they were all gonna have beards.
Right.
And Aaron was a main character, and I said, I saw him. I hadn't filmed for a little while. There was a break in filming. I think we were waiting. I think it was like bad winter, and we had to the weather had to change a little bit before we could start up again. And I see him. He's got this beard, and I'm like, oh, dude, what? You've got scenes to film. And he said, I can't shave it. Everyone in HIMSA has a beard. We're a beard band. I said, I need you to finish off the movie. He goes, just put bandages on my face or something. And I was like, I understood at that point that I was one of the only people taking this movie seriously.
Right.
Because there were scenes in between scenes. Like, you can't just suddenly have bandages over a beard. Like, I don't, like, and he was like, but it was definitely like, you think this matters? And so, that was fine. They weren't getting paid. You know what I mean? These were just friends doing something fun. So I wasn't, and I thought, so I rewrote Edge of Quarrel to remove his character.
Did that kind of stuff wear you out in making
wear me out?
Yeah,
for sure. And so after I had been like, I can now restart my movie. I know what I need to film. I still got Aaron on the edges, but like, we're cool. And then he shows up with his beard shaved. So we went back to script version A and finished the movie. Right. So it was like, okay, so HIMSA decided, someone else in the band decided they didn't want to be a beard guy.
I love that he said, we're a beard band. I give him credit because, like, that's way before the beard band kind of became, like...
Oh, yeah.
But Seattle's like that, though. Like, seriously, Seattle... No, it's the truth. Like, I remember seeing guys... Like, there was a guy, I was in the movie theater, I was watching Ali, and he came in, and he just had the Seattle look. And it was like one guy in the theater's packed. And I went up to him, and I said, are you a fan of Murder City Devils? And he said, yeah, that's when I started talking to him about Edge of Quarrel. Oh, have you heard of the movie Edge of Quarrel?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
and if he did know, he went, what are you doing?
So then, can you talk more about, this is, I have like one or two other questions, but this is like the second to last, I think. Or maybe third to last.
You're the one that has to edit this.
Editing. What are you talking about editing? There's no editing. It's cut and thrown up and simple.
I got no place to be.
Okay, well, perfect. How was this? Okay, so it was. Tell me about the release. Like VHS to start, then DVD. Did you do anything screening wise? What was the deal?
Okay. It was finished, and there was a little theater called the Big Picture here in Seattle that was like a wine bar that had a screening room that would hold like 140 people or something. And I invited essentially everyone who was involved in any way. So it was like cast and crew and my family from Bellingham. They came down for it. And we watched it there. And it was awesome. Like that actually was a lot of fun. And because it was everybody in the movie, you know, like I was like, hey, this is a chance for me to show you all what you helped me do. And that was fun. And it was also fun, like hearing my father talk about him liking hearing the crowd reaction, that clearly they were seeing things on the screen that he would have no idea what it meant. Like at one point the record gets scratched, right? And someone was like, no, like yell out for the crowd. So he understood, like, oh, apparently in real life, that's a real thing. People care about that record, you know? Stuff like that. So that was super cool. Then there was a screening where Rocky played and a band called Positively Negative played, and it screened in this place that was having shows called the Paradox Theater in the U District here in Seattle, and that was cool. Like that was, you know, they charged at the door and it was sold out. It was full of people, and that was kind of a rowdy screening of it. That was a lot of fun too. There were no screenings after that. There were like smaller weird screenings here and there, and they were always less fun. Like that was kind of like it had a 2-night run, one private premiere, and then one actual premiere, and then after that, just it should have been watched on VHS. I had the VHS copies at the premiere screening, so I was selling those also as merch.
Well, it's one thing that you brought up that I really sort of feel you with. I don't like watching my stuff with an audience. The watch parties that we did for Death Toilet it's a movie called Death Toilet, so it's just a lot of fun because the movie's freaking absurd. But I'm with you, So I'm just saying I understand your thoughts on that.
Right on.
You know.
So then after that, then it screened at the Lost Film Festival.
Oh yeah,
which was part of Slam Dance. So I got to
go
to that.
Scott
Bybin, yeah. And so I actually got to go. It showed there, and then it showed in Salt Lake City. And so that was another weekend with it that was a little bit. I don't know. It just everything was. It was cool that it did. I made some contacts there. I had a cool experience, but yeah, I just kind of realized that. I don't know. I couldn't say that was part of all of that was part of why I didn't think I could make another one. You know, and so I hadn't even thought about it. Like it costs money to get stuff into festivals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't know any of that. I didn't know that. I just made a movie and sent it places. I didn't know. So
it's a cottage industry. It's a cottage, like I'm saying, like yeah. It
was daunting, and then what? A 2-hour.
But screenwriting's like that too. Like I'm saying, like screenwriting festivals. It's the same. I mean, it's the same price, like right? Like it's
so yeah. Oh, it's probably cheaper, but like the thing is, I don't have to think about like if I write a screenplay, it's all made up in my head. Like when I'm done and I send that thing off. That's it. I don't have to sit in the room while they read it.
Right.
And let's do a whole bunch of people read it at the same time and not laugh at the right time. You know, so that's why screenwriting, I think, that was just a way to stay involved, you know. After Edge of Quarrel, I maybe wasn't going to make any more movies, but I was definitely going to keep writing.
And then in all of this, what happened to Excursion Records?
How much do I want to say? Things got decidedly less fun here in the Northwest in the mid-2000s. To the point where I just didn't want to do it anymore.
Gotcha.
Just weird internal, like stuff that was a little too much like the movie in real life. And it's never, and so I was also much older, you know? and everything changes. Was I going to keep putting out? I wasn't like going to keep putting out stuff for like bands of my friends' bands as they were either on real labels or it didn't make sense, right? I couldn't compete with what good real labels were doing, and there were other things that were going to take my time and effort and energy. So it just seemed like the time to stop with it. So I'd stopped, and then Greg Bennick forced me to put out one more record, which was the Legant 7-inch, because he called me up at my job and said, Aaron Edge and I came up with this idea about a duelist, a straight edge duelist who is writing letters to his opponent who he's going to fight with the next morning. And you want to put it out? And I went, oh yeah, of course. It was just like an instant, like I had already said, I am not doing records anymore. And I was like, well, that's not a choice. That record's coming out. So that was the last record that I did on Excursion.
Well, listen,
look, it's dead, but if you saw a record with the name Excursion on it and my address next year, don't be terribly surprised. There's nothing planned, but who knows what will happen, Right. Maybe I'll win the lotto.
Or do it digitally.
That's gotta be vinyl. I don't want to do digital, I want to do vinyl.
A few bands later, Carrie Nation took the stage. Shortly after that, Judge, a band from New York, took the stage. Andrew and I left a few songs into their set. As I was leaving, Nelson introduced me to Greg Brown, Scott Sundahl, Paul T., and other members of a group known as the Orange County Sloth Crew. Eventually, they would nickname me Mushnik, which was a character I had been in a high school play. On the ride home, I had no idea that those people I had just met would become and would be the gateway to the best friends I would ever have.